Hey, it's Kirk Nugent again. We're still on day 3, but I've had so many questions that came in that I want to address some of those and stay just to let you guys know what we're doing. Before, I had an agenda where I was saying on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays we're going to be talking about finances, and then on Friday we'll go back to health. But at the same time, I want to remain fluid, and because I'm having so many questions coming in, especially about leveraging time for money, and people seem to be very interested in the financial area of what we're talking about, so I'm going to spend some more time on that. And sometimes I feel like Morpheus, trying to free your mind.
I feel I owe you an apology. We have a rule. We never free a mind once it's reached a certain age. It's dangerous. The mind has trouble letting go. I've seen it before, and I'm sorry. I did what I did because I had to.
So let me explain why we're going at the rate in which we're going. People are asking me now, Kirk, tell me specifically what you're doing. Tell me what you're doing. But I can't just go into telling you what I'm doing, because that's, again, like building the house and putting the windows in first. So you've heard all your life, milk, it does a body good. Milk, it does a body good. Get milk. Milk is very good for you. Now, if I just came out of the blue and said, listen, milk is no good for you. You want to stay away from dairy, as a matter of fact. You're going to reject what I'm saying because you've been taught all your life that milk, it does a body good. So instead of just throwing some information your way and say, listen, this is the truth, I've researched this, and I know what I'm talking about, let me take the time to just slowly teach you where the information is coming from, how to get there, and you can arrive at your own conclusion. So there's a book by John Taylor Gatto. John Taylor Gatto. He wrote several books. As a matter of fact, he was a school teacher and he taught in the New York, I believe it was in New York, the New York public system for about 30 years. One of his books is called Weapons of Mass Instructions. The other book is Dumbing Us Down, and the third book is The Underground History of American Education. Now, basically what he taught, and the reason why I'm going into this is because I want to explain to you why is it so difficult for so many people who, even though they have really great intention, why is it so difficult for them to create wealth? And the reason being the education system was set up to make sure you remain poor. And John Taylor Gatto actually deals with this in his book. So he says that the education system cranks out, he said the education system cranks out students like Detroit cranks out Buick. He says students are programmed to conform to economic and social norms rather than being taught how to think. He described the school system as a 12-year jail sentence where bad habits are the only curriculum truly learned. A 12-year jail sentence where bad habits are the only curriculum truly learned. Now bear in mind that at first we form our habits and then our habits form us. So for 12 years you're going through a system that's teaching you a certain way of doing life. And the way that it's teaching you is not conducive to building wealth. So when you come out and someone is showing you a different system, you say, oh no, that doesn't work, and that's a scheme and that's a scam. Because you don't understand where you're getting your information from, and the habits that you form has taught you, or the habits that you form have taught you not to look at anything other than a job. Because when you go to school, the idea is, let me go to school, get a good education so I can get a good job. But I'm teaching you now what you've learned yesterday, that getting a good job never creates wealth. No one gets wealthy from going to work. So you have to think up a different strategy. He also went on to say, as a matter of fact, before I tell you what he went on to say, there was a study that was done, I believe it was by Cornell University. I'm not sure, you could do the research yourself. It was either Harvard or Cornell, one of the big universities, the Ivy League schools. And they did a study and they found that you take just about any child here in America at kindergarten, before they enter kindergarten, and if you test them, they're at the genius level. After you put them through the school system, by the time they're in the 5th grade, they're basically idiots. They've been dumbed down and they have what is called a mental retardation. They've lost the ability to think because you're not taught critical thinking in school. You're just taught to retain a bunch of stuff. The stuff that you need in order to survive and to thrive in this economy, we're not taught in school. No one teaches us, well, how do you survive and thrive in a down economy? What do you do when the economy is down? How do you create your wealth? You're not taught that in school. What you're taught is the square root of pi, because obviously you're going to need to know that. No one teaches you how to develop good and beneficial relationships. We're not taught that, but every dollar you will ever earn is going to come from someone else. So you need to learn how to manage and grow your relationships. So these are some of the things. In his book, The Underground History of American Education, John Taylor Gatto states that a system was developed, or the school system that we have right now, it was developed in, I believe it's called Mesopotamia. Don't quote me on that, my Jamaican accent getting in the way sometime. But it was developed in India and Prussia by the elite and the aristocrats. And the system was developed for one reason, and that's to keep the masses stupid and for greater social control. Now, out of this school system that any of the first world country, you go to England, Canada, Australia, the USA, the school system that we have here produced only two types of people. One, you were taught, go to school, get a good education to get a good job. So one type of people that come out, or one type of student rather that gets out of the school system is a type that wants to get a good job. In other words, they want to go and maintain and work and create more wealth for the elite, for the aristocrats, because that's what the school system was made for. The other type comes out and they become a soldier to protect the interests of the wealthy, to protect the interests of the elite.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible. I didn't say it would be easy, Neil. I just said it would be the truth.
So those are the two type of people who come out of the school system. So you're not taught how to create wealth. So in order to teach you now how to create wealth, to be financially and socially independent, we have to get rid of the system that you were taught for the past 12, 14, 15 years and re-educate you. So that's what these videos are about. And I knew when I came to America, one of the first jobs that I had a job as a salesperson. And I remember I was maybe 18 years old at the time. And another gentleman who was on the sales floor, he was 44. Never forgot this. He was 44 years old, and he went to the manager and said, "May I go to lunch?" And I thought, good God from Zion, a grown man needs permission to get something to eat. This sounds like slavery. I can't do this. I got to figure out something else. And that's when I started studying. I started reading books. I started getting my hands on everything. So all that I'm doing right now is just to open your mind to show you the way that you've been taught, the way that you go about trying to develop wealth. It doesn't work, and it doesn't work for a reason. It was placed there for a reason to keep you going back to work, trying to just maintain while you make everybody else rich. So from this day forth, we're going to work on getting you rich. So if you really want to know what I'm doing, I'm going to release that in a few days and so on and so forth. But if you want to know now exactly what I'm doing, you can always email me, kirk@kirknugent.com. Make sure if you do, you're serious. Make sure you know the terms that I'm talking about. Don't get me on the phone and then start wasting my time and telling me you want me to read your blog and you want my interpretation of your poem. That's not what we're here for. If you're serious, if you're dead serious and you're looking, well, let me not say dead. If you're alive serious and you're looking to change the way that you're going about your life, definitely send me an email and we'll work it out. Okay, so in the next coming days, I'll be releasing more information. As you go ahead and post your questions and email me and ask your questions, we'll kind of take the class towards what you're looking to get answered. So we'll keep it very fluid, very flowing. And in the next 90 days, I really want to, by the time we're done, your health is in a better place than where you started, your relationships are in a better place, and your finances are in a better place, but you have to take the steps. I can't just put the videos out and you watch them and voila, your life changes. You have to do the work. In order to be great, you have to do the work that greatness requires. So keep watching, keep doing the work. If you notice, we haven't gotten to the journals yet because I'm going to get into that within the next day or 2 days, and we'll start get that moving. So I see you guys tomorrow.